Thank you so much for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. We are a spiritual enlightenment channel where we help you expand your consciousness and become your best version. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button below and remember to click the bell so that you'll be notified when we upload a new audio or video. Today's subject is there life after death? And the answer is yes. Although many of us, in fact, most of us, especially if we grew up in the Western culture, we've been told that there's no life after death and that this is the only thing that there is. You only live one time, you only have this one life. And that is all so untrue, so not even real when you just sit and think about that. Because we are all extensions of God or source or energy, whatever you call that higher power. But we are made in the image and likeness of God. And God is energy, God is love. And so we are the same. We are energy, we are love. And so when we pass on, we become that energy again, that same energy that we were before we incarnated into this human experience. So the real truth of the matter is that this physical part of you is just a vehicle to carry your soul to have this human experience. And when the time comes, when we are to leave, when we are to pass on, we are to die. The body is the only thing that dies. The human part of us is the only thing that dies. The soul leaves the body and goes back into the non-physical realm, which is another whole nother dimension, the spiritual realm. So if you can just wrap your head around that, if you can get past the programming and the lies that we were told that, you only live one time and this is the only life and life is short and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what? We have many lives. And when we leave energy, since you are energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed, just the same as God, that God energy source, that higher power. So if God is source, God is energy, God is non-physical, God is pure love, we immerse back into that energy on the other side. Once we make our transition and get settled, we become that energy again. However, there are some things that happen in between that. Now, what happens when we make our transition? So, and then the other question is, will I go to heaven or hell, or my loved one, if you have a loved one that's already passed on and you're concerned about their well-being, then guess what? It all depends on that person. It all depends on their belief system and the state of consciousness that they were in when they left here. So, I mean, I've never died and came back and was actually conscious of what took place in my last life experience. But throughout my spiritual teachings, the things that I've been studying over the years, as well as what resonates with me, I know that it does make sense to me. And from what I understand, it depends on that state of mind of the person. So if the person is in chaos and if they are in fear, and if they have this idea of, if they've done a lot of sin, or by the way, sin is not even this or that when you get on the other side. There's no such thing as sin. I mean, we might as well just throw that out the window. But when the person gets on the other side, or you or me, it depends on our state of being when we leave here. If we're in a state of chaos and we're all jumbled up and scared and fearful and believe we're going to hell, if we know we're going to make our transition right now, then that may be the experience just for a time on the other side. And then the other thing is, if you're in peace, if you're at peace with passing away, if you letting go the fear and the worry of death and dying, then that's what you're going to experience on the other side. Again, I haven't died and came back, or even I have, but I'm not conscious of what took place. But it just makes sense if you think about that. And this is, again, based on what I've studied and what resonates with me. This is my journey. So it only makes sense that you're going to be at peace on the other side. Because if you think about it, death is very similar to us going to sleep at night. Because when we go to sleep at night, our spirit, our soul leaves the body, and we go on to have other experiences out there. We still gain experience while we're in our sleep state. So the soul leaves the body when you go to sleep at night. So the similar thing happens when we leave this physical body, this physicality, and move back on into the spirit realm. The same thing happens when, just say, if a person goes to have surgery or they get anesthesia for some stuff that happens, they have dental work done. So it's very similar. So we still leave the body. Whenever you go to sleep for a period of time, the soul leaves the body. It doesn't stay in the body because you're unconscious. So the soul leaves and go somewhere else and have other experiences. Now I'm going to talk about soul travel in another upcoming future um, podcast. But right now I'm just going to stick to this main question: is there life after death? Which is yes. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is what happens. What happens on the other side? So yeah, we experience peace or we experience chaos once we get over there. If we're in chaos, it's only for a time. It's not going to be like an ongoing thing. There's no such thing as burning and going to hell and experiencing all that. That's just programming of fear so that you can be controlled in this life experience. But once you know this information, don't take my word for it. Do further research, do some soul searching, expand your awareness and your consciousness, and just think outside of the box from what you've been taught and what you've been told growing up, or whatever that is, whatever religious teachings you may have had or you still may be having. I am not a religious person at all. I grew up Baptist, and all that stuff that we were taught, I threw it out the window. And now I'm just telling you what my journey is. I'm not speaking about what you may be experiencing. I can only excuse me. I can only speak from my own experience. So I'd recommend that you go within, meditate, connect with your inner being and God, and see what resonates with you. But just know that we are immortal beings. The soul is immortal, and your soul can never, ever, 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 ever die. So if your loved one has passed on, whether it's recently or you're concerned about your loved one passing on soon, or, excuse me, if it's going to happen way down the road, you can assure yourself that they're going to be okay and you are going to be okay. There's no need to fear death. The other thing that's going to help you when you make your transition, and if your loved one has already made theirs or is getting ready to, is to try to not be so attached to that person. I know that might be hard to say, especially if someone you really, really love and care about, if they're close. But that's where we get in trouble as human beings, is that we're attached. We're attached to people. And we just need to enjoy people while they're living. No matter what our relationship is, our mother, our father, our sister, our brothers, our cousins, our nieces, our nephews, our best friends, our lover or spouse or significant other, partner, whatever that is, whatever that relationship is, you were told from the beginning that this life is temporary. And so what happens is we get so caught up in life and so caught up in our feelings and our emotions for other people that we forget that people are only given to you for a time. So the best way to deal with someone passing on, to deal with grief, is to prepare yourself way ahead of time, which I've already done. I prepared myself for and I pray and hope that my parents live a lot longer, but I'm grateful for they're in their 70s, late 70s now. My mom's 76, my dad is 79, but I'm so grateful for them, but I prepared myself like 10 years ago for them to make their transition, because I know that it's inevitable that it's gonna happen. If you're in a physical body, then you have to make that what we call as humans that death experience, which there is no death. We just use that term, um, and as I know now that death, there is no such thing as death. We die as we know. Does that make sense? Death, physical death as we know it. There's only a physical death. That's all there is. You just leave the body, the shell, the corpse. You become a corpse. It becomes a corpse. The body becomes a corpse after you die, but your body is not the real you. The bigger part of you is spirit. So again, I've made peace with death already, and transitioning and leaving this physical body. I made peace with my loved ones are going to be leaving me, some before me and some after me, and I'm okay with that. No matter what the relationship is, I love my family and my friends, but I'm not attached to people because I know who I am and I know the truth and I know what really happens when people die. We don't lose people. You never, ever, ever lose a loved one. You just lose familiarity with them, the familiarity of what you thought they were. You lose that sense of them being physical, being able to see them and touch them and feel them and hug them and kiss them and all that or whatever. But the thing is, you still have access to your loved ones when they die, when so-called die. Again, they only change form. So say for instance, if someone does die that you love or you're close to, I'm not telling you not to grieve, but I don't typically grieve. I mean, I haven't lost a close person since my brother when I was 15. That was in 1988. It's 2019. I was 15. That was a real deal for me, but now I look at life different. I know I have access to my brother, but what I'm saying is I respond, excuse me, I've had like cousins and distant people or friends and family, that died, distant people, but I didn't like trip out when they died because I know the truth. I know that there's no such thing as death. And when people pass on before me going forward, I still have the same stance and the same belief, the same feeling about that. I know it's going to happen. So why would I put myself through that grief? So right now, I'm prepared. I'm prepared because I pray and meditate every single day. I know who I am. I'm connected to God, source, energy, spirit, universe, whatever you call that. I know my power and I know that God is powerful and I know my connection with God and spirit. So when somebody dies, they're not really dead. And I know that. I know that for sure because I felt the presence of my dad. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. I mean, I felt the presence of my brother. My brother, when he died, he actually visited me after he died, and he talked to me, and he showed me that everything was all right. He was cool, and he came to visit me. I mean, like at least every single day, 30 days, like for 30 days after he left here. And he is showing me that he was there for me and he was okay. And I'm cool with that. And so now, time to time, I still feel the presence of my brother. And I'm not afraid of dead people because, we call them dead because of the programming, the things that we were taught and told. But we're all physical beings and we're all connected. So you still do and you will have access to anybody that you don't have resistance to. They will come and visit you. They will come and comfort you and soothe you and let you know that they're okay. The easiest thing for me was to um, experience my brother when I was asleep. So in my dream, in my sleep state, my brother came to visit me, and it happened every single day for like 30 days. He came to me in my dreams. So if you are afraid of, spirits coming to visit you, if you can't wrap your head around that, you can invite them in during your dream, your sleep state, as long as you're not scared, because we're all physical beings. They're going to appear to you how you're familiar with them in your dream state. So that's the best way for a lot of people to connect with their loved ones. If you're open to them coming to visit you, like in meditation, like you're not really asleep, you're just in a relaxed state of being, they'll come to you and they'll speak to you telepathically through vibration. So if that's something you're open to, that can happen. But the main reason why I made this audio is to help you to have some comfort when your loved ones die, when they pass on, and to let you know, help you to have some more peace and ease. Excuse me. I needed a drink, but to help you to have some ease with knowing that there is no such thing as death. And so your loved one is over there once they make their transition. Once we make ours, we're guided. We're guided. As soon as we get over there, we're guided. Our spirit guides are there to help us and to lead us. And from what I understand, they're mostly people that we were already familiar with who have already passed on. People that we were close to, they're there to guide us. And then we go over there and, our loved ones or we ourselves will become spirit guides at some point. And so your loved ones are your spirit guides. You may have other spirit guides as well, but you want to go into meditation and find that out for yourself. It's really just your soul family, people that have been assigned to you, people that you actually chose to be your spirit guides at some point in this life, or even before you even reincarnated in this carnation. So what else happens over there on the other side? Once we're settled, we get more experience. We're still living life over there. There's life, there's things that we experience on the other side. Um, there's from what I understand, it's like super, like so beautiful once you get to that um pure love consciousness on the other side. Once you're over the tragedy and the wherever the person leaves here, whoever they leave, once you get over that fear and all that stuff, then it's beautiful. The experience is very beautiful. And from what I understand, there's like I picture it to be like just beautiful and serene and peaceful. And nature is just so beautiful. The trees are awesome, the flowers. However, you can envision the most beautiful piece of nature that you've ever experienced or seen. That's how I envision it to be on the other side. Just beautiful, serene, peaceful, beautiful flowers, just a super awesome place to be. And so we gain experience, and your loved ones, they gain more experience on the other side. They grow spiritually, they take classes, we continue on our soul's journey. And at some point, we reincarnate either into the same family or another family, depending on our soul's journey. So I hope that gave you some comfort and some ease and some things to think about as far as life after death. Some things to think about as far as what you've been taught and told spiritually about our life and who we are as spiritual beings having this human experience. I am a spiritual guide. And so if you need help on your spiritual journey, if you need questions answered, if you are still figuring things out, you want answers, you want to continue on this journey with more knowledge and understanding, I'm here to assist you, Katina Love. Feel free to email me at mskatina, Katina, love@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. Namaste.